What do you do when you're 2,000 miles away from home and you don't have your kit and you need to do a good job? Well, you call on your friends, of course, and that's just what I did. Find out how. Roll 'em. Well, hi YouTube, Brian James at Micro Four Thirds guy with you once again. And yes, I have a little bit of a conundrum. I'm 2,000 miles away from where all my gear is. I've got loads of gear at home, but I'm in Cyprus, and if you looked at a previous video, you found that I've got very limited camera gear over here. I've got my G9, my GX8, my G100. They're about the only cameras I've got across here. But even with having those cameras, I still need to be able to do some things, and I needed to do some publicity shots indoors, and I didn't get the chance to do it because all my lighting is at home. I couldn't fit it into the hand baggage easily along with everything else I needed. And although I've done reviews on lighting and things in the past, and to tell you the truth, I've probably done enough reviews on lighting over the time, but I still needed some lighting. And I was going to go out and sort something out, and an email popped through fortuitously just at the right time. Actually, it was really good, because my friends at Kentfaith, who I've done filters and tripods and things for in the past, and I've loved their gear, got in touch with me and asked me if I would like to test one of their lights. Well, I think in this circumstances normally I would have said no because I've done enough, but because I needed a light, and because I also do have a great deal of faith in Kentfaith as a company, I thought I'd reply back and say yes, and this is what I got sent through. It's a 60-watt COB light, very similar to one that I've done from a different manufacturer recently. Now, I'm not going to do big comparisons to the other manufacturer. I might mention it a couple of times through this video. I'll be very open about it. I've done some stuff for Zhiyun in the past, and I've enjoyed their lighting. I thought it was really good, but because I don't have those lights here to hand, I can't do a back-to-back comparison. I'm not really in the mood to, because light's light. If you can put enough light out and you can manipulate that light, you can form it, you can do what you need to do, as long as it's correct, as long as the light itself is close enough to the color temperatures it's going to be, so that you can mix and match those sort of lights and things. And also, so long as you can actually adjust that color temperature and the intensity to what you want it to be, then really there's not much you can compare on that. A good light will be a good light. However, it's the light itself, it's how the light functions, it's how the light is powered, its recharge time, its usage time. They're the things which come in for the big differences. Now, as I said, don't have those other lights with me, so I'm going to do a review just on this light itself. Well, as I say, it came through. Before I start looking at the specifications, which I'll give you in a second, I've unbagged it, I've unboxed it, and I was quite surprised by what I found, actually. I really did find it good. I don't know why I said I was surprised, actually. It was good quality. Why I'm not surprised? Because Kentfaith has always given me good quality stuff in the past, so I was pleasantly enjoying the opening up. The case is really good with its zip around it, very well constructed, nice and light, but certainly capable of getting lots of protection. And when I opened it up, I found a couple of cables inside. Usual USB-C cable to charge it from a battery pack. I think it's got about 4,700 milliamp hour battery, and I'll check that in a few moments when I show the specs. But yeah, you expect the normal USB-C to see. What I didn't expect, though, is because the camera itself has not only a USB charging point, but also one for a power supply. I didn't expect to see the cable come in with that. And it did, it came in. It's a USB-C to the charging point. Nice long cable. This gives you the ability to actually have it plugged in while you're using it, but without having to try and find somewhere close by for the battery. This can actually stay down. So if you've got it on a lighting stand, this is long enough to reach the floor, so you're not balancing things and having weight up a height. This is great, and I like that. I really like it. Very well thought out. Simple little addition, but inexpensive to put in, but very useful to the photographer. It also comes with one of these mini bones type mounts on, the usual sort of thing on that. And again, in comparison to the lighting I've used in the past, I love these little things. They're very adaptable, these little domes. You can take it off altogether and you can have it as a normal reflector. That gives a very concentrated but intense light. Really amplifies the light somewhat under there, but a very cold and hard light. By putting this on and just pops over the top, just on the others. This actually slightly better fitting than the other one as well. It feels neat around there. By having the dome pushed in, it gives more of a softer light, a wider light, but it's still very, very controllable. Very, very controllable, and it's neat and easy, and also, of course, acts as a protection for the COB lighting thing. But by popping that out, this really does give a huge, it'll fill a room with light, and it gets into all the nooks and crannies, and of course, because it's so diffused, it becomes a very, very soft light. So from a very simple little reflector there, and the little dome on top, you can get a lot of different lighting styles straight out from the box, and it's not huge, it's not big to carry. Now obviously you can't tailor the light too much, you've got a fairly limited amount of light shaping you can do with these, but if you're wanting that, then get yourself some, you know, get some reflectors and things and put those up. But insofar as this is nice and easy. The COB light is nicely held back, and there's a nice cover over the top so you can't get into it. Touching it will get hot though. They always get hot, whatever the manufacturer. But basically very well protected in there, very neat. The construction is a little bit too hard plastic for my liking. It's that thing, but it's solid. It's not going to do anything, but if it was to come off a lighting stand, I don't think it would actually survive too well. But the thing is, not to knock it off a lighting stand if you can help it. Controls, I tend to be one of these people, right or wrong, I'm one of these people who basically doesn't read instruction books. I don't know what you're like. I think it must be a man thing. I think an awful lot of us men don't read instruction books. So for me, I like controls to be intuitive. I didn't necessarily find it super intuitive looking at it. It's basically the controls, the on-off switches on the bottom, that's easy enough, and it tells to give 10 windings when the little LCD display comes on. Not the easiest thing to see. It's a little bit like the competition ones as well. It looks almost identical, actually, the display itself inside to some of the others, so they're probably using an off-the-shelf display. But basically, press a button, hold it, and then it'll come up with a little thing to tell you to turn this knob sort of 10 times or so, and it'll come on. I did find that it's not necessarily the most intuitive thing. It doesn't take long to suss it out. I mean, it's not hard work, but it wasn't the most intuitive. But basically, with a combination of turning the encoders and pressing the buttons, this will actually change what you've got. And again, like the other lights I've done, if you get it on the safe for the dimmer, by pressing it, it'll go up in 25% increments. So off 25%, 50%, 75%, 100%. And there's also a max button on there, and that will actually maximize the amount of output, but it does chew through the battery. And I'll be honest with you, in most circumstances, for what I'm going to be using this for, which is filming inside the house, which I haven't been able to do properly, because obviously I've got this wonderful backdrop here, I don't need a light out here. Well, I say I don't, and I'll show you why I may do in just a second. But basically I've got this light, and I'm not really fighting against huge amounts of light. So when I'm inside, a smaller amount will do, and this will last quite a while. So we'll see that in specifications. But I did just say about lighting when I've got all this behind me. Why would I possibly need this? Well, very, very simple. Let's push that inside. Let's put this on. And literally, I'm just sitting at my table here. Let's switch it on. I'll turn my color temperature to 5600. Just by pressing the buttons. And what I'll do, if you can see my face here, you'll see that I've got this, but even outside, I can still have lighting problems. So if I start increasing the light here, I'm underneath the canopy, so you can actually fill in some of the shadows and some of the light here, which normally wouldn't be there. So even something in an outdoor situation like this, you can do. And that amount of light is what's the dimmer set to there? The dimmer set to 75%. So I mean, basically, as far as I'm concerned, if I wanted just a sort of fill-in light, or doing some film like this, you can see, even in a bright day with 75%, I'm able to fill in an awful lot of the lighting if I wanted to. Well, I'm just interjecting because this is done afterwards. I'm doing this after the main part of the video, because I've actually got some correspondence through from Kentfaith, which has linked me to the page. And if you want to find out what the page is, there's a link below. And even better, if you click that link, it's an affiliate link. I make a little bit of money out of it, which I'm very open to say, which goes to the channel. Doesn't cost you any more. In fact, if you use that link and use the code Brian James, all in capitals, then you're going to get 17%. That's 17% discount just by using that link and going there. And as I say, it helps my channel as well slightly with an affiliate link. But the most important thing is, the price is only £119 UK, and I'm guessing it's going to be very, very similar in both dollars and in euros. So £119 UK for this light, I think, is absolutely fantastic value for money. And you haven't even heard the specifications yet. So to hear the specifications, keep listening, keep watching, and I'll give you a full conclusion at the end. So let's have a look at some of those specifications. I haven't had a chance to do any of these photographs since I did. I literally got it this weekend. I've had a play around with it in the house. I've charged it up. It didn't take long to charge up at all. But I know fine well with the quality of the light and what the modifiers are like, that I'm going to be able to get everything I can do at home. So I'm not really worried about the actual about showing you examples, because basically I could show examples of the ones I've already done to get an exact copy of it. So I'm over the moon with this. It's manageable, it's neat. It looks like a little old film camera. Can you remember the old film cameras you used to get? It looks a little bit like this, and I think it's actually meant to. I think that's part of the design philosophy, by the way. But oh, one little point though. It does have, on its own handle, it does have a locking handle, which will go onto this, which will go onto a standard lighting stand. But also it's a 1/4-20, so I can put my my favourite little Arca Swiss mount onto this and put on my other tripod, which you'll have seen in the accompanying videos. So yes, let's have a look at some of the specifications. Now I'm going to read these straight off the data sheet, which Kentfaith have very kindly given me along with this. I don't have prices at the moment, and if I get the chance, I'll put the prices underneath in the description for both the euro and pounds. So I do not have the prices. I don't know what the value for money is like. If it's anything like normal for Kentfaith, I think it's probably going to be excellent value for money, but say at the moment I just can't give you that. But let's give you some of the specifications on this, literally reading from here. It's a COB light, as I say, it's 60-watt COB light, and it's sitting centimetres 12 by 8.3 by 7.2 centimetres. And that's the body of it without the modifier. So let's take the modifier off. Weighs 595 grams, so it's not the lightest, but obviously a lot of that will be done with heat sinks inside, which are needed. So I don't knock the weight of these lights very much. They do need that heat sink, and that also prolongs the life of the lamp as well. So without that, you're just going to be buying something which is going to last 2 minutes. So a good heat sink, I think, is imperative on this one. Now it also includes the handbag as well, which I've shown you in the pictures as well. It has colour rendering. I'll give you the figures, which I never understand these figures, but basically to do with the accuracy of the colour intensity and the white balance on this. So it has a CRI of greater than 97 and a TLCI of greater than 98. And if you look at some of my earlier videos on some of the lighting, you'll find what that means. Colour temperature is in the range between 2700 Kelvin and 6500 Kelvin, and the highest illumination bare light is 2280 lux. So it's a nice powerful little light. For a 60 watt, it's still a very, very powerful little light. It has effects. I don't tend to use the effects and things much. 12 lighting effects, and actually it says including pulse lighting, lightning, TV faulty lights, paparazzi emergency call, general brightening, gradual dimming, bonfire, explosion, candlelight, and a breathing light, whatever they are. As I say, I tend not to use them. If you're doing videos, you possibly will need to use them, and if you do need to use them, they are there. It's got multiple power supply methods, as I say, with these two cables. Now, obviously, it doesn't come with a charger, and that's important to know. But it is PD version 3 fast charging. So if you've got a PD3 charger, which will do the higher voltage, the sort of 12 volt charging on the normal 5 and the high power, then this will charge off that. You can run it if you've got a charger which is capable of putting 60 watts out, or if you've got a battery bank, battery blocks which is capable of putting 60 watts out, you can directly run it from there with the included USB-C to C cable. Or, as I say, with the also included USB-C to power input cable. And if you have a charger for that, I'm just not sure what the actual charging value is. Does it tell me on here? Yes, it does. It's a 19-volt charger, which is similar to a lot of computers actually. So if you're using this off a 19-volt charger, then that's great. But basically this will work with any PD3 power supply. You don't need to buy a specific power supply, you know, that if you can get yourself a good PD3 USB-C charger, it'll work perfectly well off that, and that can be used for all the other USB-C USB-3 things that you have. Sorry, USB-C things that you have. You can use Bluetooth, and if you use Bluetooth, there is a mobile app which is free, which allows you to control this, to switch it on and off, and to change the color temperature, and to change the modes that it's in if you're using the different sorts of modes for your effect. That can all be done from the app, which is iOS and also Android compatible. So basically that can be just downloaded straight away from the site. It's all the instruction book, and it can be paired off to your phone or your iPad or your tablet, whatever you want to do, straight off to use for that. Very, very useful, very, very helpful when you're doing videos and things, especially if you're doing one-to-one videos like this. It's got a cooling fan in, which is a noiseless cooling fan, and I must admit I've never actually heard the cooling fan work yet. It's been on for a while, and that really for me makes the importance for it, because it's got to be quiet enough that you're going to use it on your videos. But if you do get the unit working and you're doing a longish video, that cooling is vitally important to keep the lamp length, the lamp life high, and also the unit life high as well. There's a lot of heat put out by a 60-watt COB light. I've talked about batteries, but there isn't actually a need to connect the battery once you get it charged up. You could just use these cables just for charging it. You can use these to supplement, so it will work off it, but it has a 4500 milliamp hour, not 47, 4500 milliamp hour battery. And the mountain plate is dead easy to get to, so it's not one of these things you have to struggle into when you get on a lighting stand. It's easy, right beside the controls. With that, of course, it can be used immediately and anywhere. It'll be on for at least 75 minutes in normal mode at maximum, at high power. So not the max power, there's a max power button, but in normal mode, at its maximum, it'll last at least 75 minutes. And if you switch out to max mode, which I don't envisage me doing very often at all, that brings it down to 45 minutes, but still quite a lot of time if you're doing a video. If you could be doing a 45-minute video face to face and still have your light on for all that time. But 75 minutes, great. It gives you a lot of time to be able to be adaptable. And of course, if you keep on switching it off between takes and things, then it gives it a bit of a better chance of cooling, but also B, it saves some of the battery, so you could actually get a couple of hours worth of shooting time if you're sensible with it. So what am I thinking about it? I think it's great, actually. I really do. As I say, lighting wise, I've tried it inside. I don't need to be doing photographs with it because to show you what it is, because it's a white light. The color temperature does seem to match very well to what I would expect. How I test color temperatures on these lights is I'll switch it to what it is, and I'll switch my camera to a corresponding color temperature, and hopefully when you are shooting something white, it'll come out white. And when you put it into your software, if you put it in the editing software afterwards and try putting it against its scale, doing a sample of it, if it doesn't change very much at all, then I know the colours are just about spot on. If it has to do a lot of correction to get the same colour temperature on both this and the camera and the software, then I know something's gone nastily wrong. Now I know my cameras are made to high quality, and I know that my software is done there, so the only thing that could really be bad would be the light. And I did a quick test on this inside, and there was no correction whatsoever. So I think that what they're quoting for the colour temperatures, when I say no colour correction whatsoever, I'm on about a few degrees. I'm not about tens of degrees, I'm on about a few degrees. And I was getting very, very little difference between them. So I think the colour temperatures are just about spot on. And certainly if you're going to be mixing it with other lights, so long as their colour temperature settings are just as accurate, then I think you're going to have no problem whatsoever on this. So my overall thing, I like it. I say the criticisms I would have would be the slightly inexpensive plastic compared to some of the other lights that I've tested. A lot of the other ones are actually the other 60-watt COB light I've got, and again I can't tell you what the prices are, so I can't compare like for like, but I know the other 60-watt COB light I have at home is more of a metal construction and quite a bit tougher. But again, use some common sense on these things. These are not bowling balls, they're not hammers and things. These are precision pieces of equipment, and you know, really we don't want to be hammering around the place. We need to be taking a bit of common sense and sensible operation, and if you do that, this should last you for years and years. I do like the thing with Kentfaith insofar as all the things they do. I love their attitude to their equipment. I love the philosophy that they have. And this has come across into this light. So would I recommend it? Absolutely, I would recommend it. As I say, without knowing the price that is, but I would recommend it wholeheartedly just on what I have in front of me. It's very easy to use, it's very straightforward to use, it's fully adaptable. And you can actually buy adapter rings. I'm not sure if Kentfaith do that, but I have seen in these mini bones from other manufacturers, adapter rings. I presume you may get one to fit this, to give you a full bones mount. Don't quote me on that, I haven't seen it, and I haven't seen it on the site, but with a little bit of luck you may be able to. Well, thanks very much for watching this video, everybody. Thank you very much to Kentfaith for giving me this light to try. Now, if you're not a subscriber to the channel, then you've got no idea. A subscription and a like really does help. So if you can give me the subscription, hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and also tick the little bell and mark all the notifications each time a video comes out. That doesn't cost you a penny, it doesn't commit you to anything, but it does make a huge difference to the channel, because it helps YouTube to promote the channel so more and more see it. And if you would like to give a little bit of physical support to the channel, then you can either give a super thanks, or there is a buy me a coffee link at buymeacoffee.com/Brian James, and there's a link below again in the description for that one. But as I've said earlier in the video, you'll find that there's also an affiliate link for this if you want to get 17% off. Use the link, the Kentfaith link in the description below, for 17% off this, and also it is an affiliate link, so it does help the channel a little bit as well. But for 17% off the price of this, hit the link below. Anyway, thanks very much to Kentfaith, thanks very much to you for watching this video, and if you get the chance, check it out. I think you're really going to be impressed. But until the next video, this is Brian James saying thanks very much. Keep on taking your camera out, keep on taking your lights out with it to get the best results, and I hope you enjoy your photography. Have fun. Bye bye.